Happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's Brad here, Wild Boys Brewery, Pooka, NC. Hadn't really been putting anything up here lately because I hadn't had a whole lot to talk about, anything new anyway. This week, what I'm going to chat about is a couple things. A Russian Imperial Stout that I did on Monday, actually Tuesday I think. And I got this kick-ass Beermail from DJ. I'm sure some of you probably know, he also homebrews. He mostly strictly does reviews on his channel. He doesn't do Homebrew Wednesday updates. I think he's pretty happy just doing beer reviews, so for whatever reason he doesn't participate in that part of the community, but he does homebrew and he's very good at it. So the first one he sent me that I'm going to check out is a variation of Dropkick Nate called Dropkick DJ, and it's a lager version of Dropkick Nate. And on this one, he put it on the label, he's using Munich, Pale 2-row, some oats, say oatified IPA. Gotta say I never had anything like this before, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. He stuck with the Galaxy and the Eldorado, which is what Nate Pico uses on his. Nice crown, pop the top, light hiss. Got a decent amount of carbonation, kicked up. It's like maybe this was, I don't know if he bottled off the keg on this or not. I don't see whether he put that on there or not. 6%. It's a lager. It's not super clear, but that may be hop haze. I put about a half a finger of head on it. Best I can remember. Yeah, I've never brewed not Dropkick Nate, so sorry. It's on my list. I did get a bottle of it a long time ago. It was probably like almost 2 years ago or a year and a half, something like that. And I can't remember if it looks like it or not. It's really nice looking beer. Let's get a nose on it. Very nice. It's got a real juicy sweet smell. Eldorado is mainly what I get off of it, and I do get some Galaxy. It's very citrusy, sweet, juicy smelling, orange. Very clean smelling because of the lager yeast. That's pretty nice. Very nice smelling beer. Let's get into it. Cheers. Oh yeah. It's a very nice tasting beer. I'll be honest with you. He sent me a bunch of lagers, and if it'd been from, I don't buy lagers because I don't like them too much. But I do like this, and this is very nice, and I appreciate you sending it out, DJ. Follows the nose. It's got that classic Eldorado combination with, if you most of you guys have already brewed Dropkick Nate, and I'm sure it's probably very similar to that for as far as like what you'd get off of it. I'm getting a little tiny bit of that Munich sweetness, which is not out of place in this beer at all. It's got a very nice smooth mouthfeel to it from the oats. Very crushable beer. Nice lacing, as you can see. Orange, citrus, a little bit of sweetness from the Munich malt. Very creamy from the oats. follows the nose. Great job, man. No off flavors whatsoever, and it's hard to hide any off flavors with a lager. Although this one is a little bit more hoppy than most lagers, it's still, you can tell it's brewed really nice. So great job, DJ. Appreciate you sending it out. So cheers to DJ. And as far as what I got going on home brewing, I've been brewing IPAs. You guys all know I'm a hophead, so it's one of the reasons I haven't posted any videos about it too much. I am going to post a video on the latest one I've got going. It's not in a keg yet. It's still got one more. It's got to finish out this week on dry hop. It's pretty much my standard IPA recipe. It's use Optic as my base malt. Care stand 30 pound of that. I think it was 12 pounds. It was either 12 or 12 and a half pounds of Optic, 1 pound of Care stand, which is Crystal 30, or 34 actually, or maybe it's 30. And then half a pound of Care Pills. Changed up a couple of the hops that I've been using. My standard favorite hops are Amarillo, Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe. So I usually, if I experiment much, when I like to experiment, I'll always put a couple of my favorites in there, and then I'll change out a couple of them, and I can kind of see, because I know what to expect off all 4 of those hops, and I can really tell how the other hops are affecting it. Bought some Nelson Sauvin and some Belma, and use that with Amarillo, Citra, and Simcoe, but it was I alternated the Amarillo and Citra since they're very similar. And it's got the bulk of about half of the hops in it or more than half the hops are Belma and Nelson Sauvin. Gotta say, I did pull the gravity sample on that, putting it into secondary, and that thing was just awesome. Really like those 2 hops. I'm gonna play around with them a little bit more, and I think I'm gonna do I may wind up doing a single hop. We're talking about doing another hop experiment. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm probably going to go ahead and brew a single hop beer before that happens, and I'll put up the video about it. But really digging the Nelson Sauvin. Tacky walk on duty. And then we've got, I did the Founders Kentucky Breakfast Stout AHA clone recipe. And I use Optic as my base malt. It's basically 16 pounds of Optic, 1.8 pounds of flaked oats, 0.9 pounds of roasted barley. I use 0.7 pounds of chocolate UK, which is 510 Lovabond, which is a little bit higher than the chocolate they're listing on their recipe. So I used a little less of it. I used 0.7 instead of 0.9. And then for my American chocolate, it was 0.3. Then there's 0.6 caramel 120, and then 0.6 of de-bittered black malt. I upscaled the recipe, so mine's for a 6-gallon batch. If you guys get this clone, then it's not going to be those exact numbers. The exact numbers out there are for 5-gallon. I also upscaled my hop additions to target the correct IBU, which was, I think it's like 74. 72 is what I got. He used calls for nugget on theirs, and I used German Magnum, 2 ounces of that. I split the 25-minute drop. It's supposed to be all Willamette, and I used 0.75 ounces of Willamette and 2.75 ounces of Fuggles, because I had some Fuggles and I didn't have enough Willamette for both drops. So I split that one, and then for the 10-minute drop, it's 2.25 ounces of Willamette. American Ale yeast. It's also, I did not do the coffee at the end of the bowl, the 10-minute drop. I don't think that adding coffee into the bowl is a good idea. I've heard a lot of people say they get a lot of astringency off of it, and they're actually wanting you to use Sumatra coffee, which is like a pretty bold coffee. I'm a bigger fan of doing cold coffee. Do an overnight extract, cold steeping, like Randy Mosier suggests, doing half a pound in, can't remember how many ounces of water it is, and then you let it sit overnight. I put mine in a jar or a big glass jug and just let it sit, and then I put it in my French press and strain it and just add it straight to secondary. So I'm not going to do the Sumatra coffee because I don't really like Sumatra coffee too much. I'm going to do the Kona and then probably bump it up to 10 ounces instead of 8, since I'm not doing the 2-ounce drop in the bowl with the Sumatra. There's also cocoa nibs in it, and bittersweet baker's chocolate. And what I use was they use Belgian and I use Austrian, which is same geographical neighborhood. And I put 5 ounces in mine instead of the 4 it's calling for. My OG is 1.103, so this thing is going to be a friggin' beast as far as the gravity on it, depending on how low it drops. They're projecting 1024. I use wash yeast, and it was actually the 2nd generation that one. So it was actually what I used in my KBS clone was 3rd generation, because I just had racked the IPA I was telling you about off of that yeast cake about 15 minutes before I put the KBS on top of it. So that beer was like, I think, going to be somewhere around about 6-7%, something like that. And this thing calls for like a 3-liter starter, and I figured just racking on top of that yeast cake of a smaller beer would cover that. And it's also that yeast has been dropping really low, so it's kind of mutated a little bit. I think that IPA was at 1007 going on to the dry hop, so I think it's probably going to wind up dropping that KBS down below 1024. So I'm probably looking at somewhere between about a 10-12% beer. So we'll see how that thing finishes up. We'll see. This thing's warmed up a little bit and it's still tasting great, so great job, DJ. Going to give a shout out to the guys on the Brew Tubers Roundtable. Been on that for a couple weeks. It's like Mike Dean was saying on his update. It's like you get on there 15 minutes later and there's like so much activity on it, you're like just totally lost. You just kind of just have to pick up where you get on there. A lot of cool guys on there chatting, so if you want to get on there, shout out to Lou Brew and let him know. And shout out to Ryan from Lou Brew for creating it, and all the other guys on it. And that's pretty much it. Gonna wrap it up, and I'll see you guys later. Cheers.